you're looking for. You wrote this one.
Miriam, you're live.
Good morning. Do we need to say
Loud and
who's
clear.
here? Oh, good. This is the pre-bid meeting for the CDBG 47th year. Re-advertisement of 47th year CDBG Raymond P. Oglesby Reserve Safety Improvement. Today is June 23rd, and we're having the mandatory pre-bid meeting. We will discuss what we are looking for, and what type of project this is, and also I need to identify this bid number. It's ITB 2205. And the scope of work is addition of light poles and removing and replacing of existing light fixtures, LED light fixtures. You remember how many we have? Okay. So again, this is CDBG, and there are some stipulation from the CDBG that from Broward County, and they're going to go over that just so that you know what is required from the program. And then here to discuss that is Chantel from the Broward office.
Good morning. So because this is a CDBG project, Davis-Bacon is a federal act that applies to this project. And what Davis-Bacon is a federal act that requires all laborers that are employed by a contractor to do construction work, they must be paid prevailing wages that are determined by the Department of Labor. The prevailing wages for this particular project are residential construction, and they are included in the bid packet and in the boilerplate. You must utilize the classifications provided on the wage determination for your project for each employee. So when you start the project, go down the wage determination, determine which classification of workers you'll be utilizing, and circle those, and make sure that those actual names are printed on your payroll sheets, because that is what we're going to be comparing it to. Make sure no one is listed as a helper. Helper is not on the form, so you can't have a helper. The wages listed on the wage determination sheet are the minimum amount that you must pay that person for that position. You cannot go lower than that wage. Obviously, you can go higher, and we ask that if you are paying them more than that rate, obviously don't reduce their salary to what is on the wage rate. If for whatever reason you look at the classifications and you do not see a wage determination or a classification for a worker that you are going to have on the project, we ask that you immediately contact the city, let them know of the discrepancy that you're having, and they'll contact us, and we'll get you that wage classification prior to the project starting. The other related acts and clauses that are required on this project is the Copeland Anti-Kickback Act, which basically means that every person that is paid is required to have their full compensation. You can't at any point in time ask for any of their compensation back after they've been paid. The Contract Work Hours and Safety Standards Act basically states that anybody over 40 hours must be paid time and a half for the work that they work. Proper designation of trade, you must make sure that you classify each employee under the actual classification of work that they're doing on the site. Non-discrimination clause, you can't discriminate anyone on the grounds of race, color, national origin, or sex to be excluded from participating in this project. Age Discrimination Act, no person that should qualify on the basis of age shall be excluded from participating or denying benefits in this project. Non-Discrimination Act on the basis of handicapped, no qualified handicapped person shall be discriminated on the basis of handicap if they can participate in this project. And the legal remedies for violating any of these is you could potentially be debarred from federal, state, and local work and be considered a debarred contractor. Once the project is awarded, you will receive the Davis-Bacon Labor Standards, a contract guidebook. And this is a step-by-step book that goes over all the laws that I just explained, but you'll have it in your possession. Once the project starts, you must submit weekly payrolls. Those payrolls must start from the time that you get the notice to proceed from the city all the way until the end of the project. We do understand that usually the first week or the second week you're mobilizing and there isn't any actual work on the site. So those payrolls just need to state no work. If there are any weeks in between where the project stops due to weather or whatever, you still need to submit the weekly payroll, but it will just state no work. So the payrolls have to be every week from the notice to proceed all the way to the end, whether there's no work or not. The statement in the payroll form is WH-347, which is utilized for federal projects. You'll receive that. You'll receive an electronic copy as well as a physical copy once the project is awarded. The statement of compliance is the second page of the payroll form, which is WH-347, and that basically states that you are, the person who is signing off on the payroll is certifying that it is correct and true. The base wage and fringe benefits, those are listed on the on the wage classifications. There are fringe benefits added to the wages, so that gives you the total amount paid. If you're paying any fringe benefits, those will be noted on the payroll forms. Some of the typical payroll errors that I see that come across is the employee names, address, social security is missing, the rate of pay is incorrect, the work's classification is not matching what's on the sheet. There's math errors, overtime is not paid or is paid incorrectly, or the total hours is not added up correctly. So just keep in mind for those things. Apprentices, if you have any apprentices, you have to give me the documentation at the beginning of the work that they are apprentice and that there's a certain ratio of skilled workers working with that apprentice. Posting, there's specific posting that I'm looking for on the job site when I come to visit the job site. You have to post the OSHA safety poster in English and Spanish, the Davis-Bacon labor poster in English and Spanish, and the wage decision, which is provided in the big packet. All of that has to be posted on site in an area where it's highly accessible to the employees that are working on site, because these are the posters for them and for their benefit. The wage decision, the wage classification has several pages, so we ask that you either post each of those pages individually in something that's weatherproof, or put it inside of a container that they can pull out, but that container is weatherproof, so it doesn't get weathered by the rain or whatever happens. And then you can always keep it on site. You don't have to keep on moving it back and forth. Employee interviews, I will be on site at some point during the project to interview the employees working on there. My goal in doing that is that I am matching what they tell me on site to the payrolls that you're submitting. And as long as everything is in alignment, then you don't have any issues. The HUD boilerplate is part of the bid packet. In order to be considered responsive, you must submit page 13 of the boilerplate, which is the bidder's initial Section 3 goals. And then you also must submit either page 17 or 18, one of those pages. And those are the eligible jobs availability form or unavailability form. And that form, those between 17 and 18 should match what you put on 13. And what those forms are is basically your goals towards Section 3. What Section 3 is because this is a federal project, HUD requires or would like us to meet or to hire people that are low income within that area to work on this project. If you have any opportunities to hire any people, that is what this question is. That is what this questionnaire is asking you. There must be a project sign that must be erected on the project site, which is the last page of the boilerplate, which shows you the exact dimensions of the sign. The sign has to be posted on the site prior to work starting. And the last thing is the Section 3 compliance. So Section 3, again, is helps foster local economic development for individual self-sufficiency. If you have any employment opportunities, then we ask that you try to give them to Section 3 workers or targeted Section 3 workers. Within the last 2 years, HUD has changed how to meet the Section 3 goals. And what we have to do now is we have to have a certain amount of labor hours dedicated to Section 3 workers. You may already have Section 3 workers on your staff, and you just may not know it. In Section 3 workers, as defined by HUD, is someone who was employed with you within the last 5 years and is considered low or very low income persons. The way that we'll define or identify those Section 3 workers is there is a form that I'll give you at the beginning of the project. Any person that is working on that site, I ask that you have them fill out that form, and then I can determine whether they're a Section 3 worker or not. And then from that point, I will base off of your payroll sheets how many labor hours are given to those people. So that's how the Section 3 compliance can work out. Really, the assistance that I need on your end would just making sure that your staff fills out those Section 3 certification forms in the beginning. And that is all I have from the county. Thank you.
Thank you, Chantel. What I would like to do now is to go over what needs to be submitted. Besides what Chantel just mentioned for Section 3, we also have the bid forms, and there are quite a few bid forms to fill out. They're part of the contract documents, and they need to be filled out and submitted with the bid. And one thing that I saw was that needs to be added is that project sign that Chantel just mentioned. There is no line item for that, but it needs to be presented as one of your items because it needs to be put on the site. There will be a performance bond, 100%, so that you know in advance. And then if and when the bid get awarded, there is a contract to be filled out. At this time, I will ask if you have any question. No question. You want to add anything since you're the, this is the project engineer? Can
You need to speak into the mic, please.
Good morning. My name is Jorge Cervantes, representing Cabo Girano, the engineers for the project. The one thing that I want to bring up is due to economic conditions and deliveries of products, okay, expedite the shop drawings reviews will be hardly encouraged to be done due to the time frame of delivery equipment and products to the sites. If there is any conflicts or there is any issues on deliveries, the contractor should notify us and the city and regarding any issues that might happen. We have encountered several projects where the contractors just waiting and haven't been able to receive all the products that they need. So that would be the only thing that would, I wanted to bring into the table due to, the conditions that we are having right now, that as soon as you can and your product is, you're awarded the project, start working on shop drawings so we can go ahead and expedite the reviews and be able to deliver the final product for this project as soon as possible for the city. Is it?
As noted, this is a mandatory meeting in order to bid. And at this time, I believe we have gone over everything that needs to be discussed, and then we need to do a quick site visit across the street to show the site. Do you have anything more you want to add?
You done?
Yes.
Okay.
You're closing the meeting?
Yes, I'm closing the meeting, and everything is okay at 10:44.
Thank you.